Prepare for Nerdgasm.
Hey, what's up guys? Jerry here. Just wanted to finish up this video for you guys. This is my third and final day at DirtFish Rally School. I decided, since there was so much footage and it was all over the map and the audio was screwed up, that I just grabbed my two end runs that I did at the end of the day. So basically these are my two groups of runs that I did. One set I did with Don Wooten, who's riding with me right now here in this clip. Fantastic instructor. He also does autocross and has a pretty badass car. So this is my first run, and then after this we'll get into my second run at the end of the day, which was actually kind of special because the president of DirtFish, Lee Clark, came down for a ride-along, and he's somebody that comes from literally years and years of professional rally driving. So it was pretty cool to have him along, but I'm not going to lie, the pressure definitely went up when he stepped into the car. So here you can see right now I'm driving a 2005, I believe, Subaru STI. Set up for rally. Basically it's got the roll cage in it and a couple of mods and a bunch of stuff to protect the car. Here I am coming down the slalom. I'm actually driving quite fast. This video really doesn't do justice to just how fast we were going. You can kind of tell by how easily the car is just like flipping about. But we're doing a course right here. This is called the Wedge, and actually it's a link together a couple of courses, but basically it's running the whole facility all at one time. So here we have to slow down because we're going through a pretty dangerous spot here. There's like concrete barricades in front of us. But the idea is the transition out of dirt on the tarmac, loose gravel surface, everything, and kind of experience the whole gamut. And it's pretty sensational. This was my third time taking the 3-day, and they pretty much told me after this time that I've mastered it and I need to move on to something else. So so now I'm looking for, you know, other classes up there to take, and they're always working on new programs and stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. And so wow, we haven't even completed one lap of the course yet. It's whoa, we were going really fast right there. The audio on the GoPro Hero when it's inside the case is absolutely horrible. I didn't pick up any of the vocals, and just and all you hear in the car is just the banging from it being mounted on the sway bar behind us. But it's still pretty cool to watch. Now, a couple of my subscribers had asked me to compare this this driving experience and the things I learned to, you know, something like Codemasters Dirt 3 or Richard Burns Rally. And the first thing I'll tell you is it absolutely does apply. I don't know if it applies really in reverse. Like when I first started in day 1, if you watch the video, I mean, I'm actually not that good. And at the end of day 3, I actually felt like I was doing really good at this, so I decided to go in their simulator room. They have a sim lounge there, and they have Dirt 3, so I figured, oh, I'll sit down and give this a try. So I turned my absolute best time that I ever did. I think it was 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Gosh, I wish I remember which course it was, but of course I wasn't writing it down. But it was by far my best time that I've ever gotten. I mean, I placed first, and it was my first time trying on day 3 after coming in the morning. So the stuff that they teach you and the muscle memory that you build by going through all these exercises in a real car absolutely does apply to a simulator. So I'll be doing more videos in the future playing Dirt 3 and Richard Burns Rally, and maybe, you know, we can do a comparison of, you know, how good I'm doing now versus how I was doing then. This is a trip right here. This is a double pendulum turn. If you hit it just right, you actually pendulum in and then you pendulum out all the way up around that thing, and you're actually doing it at a pretty decent speed. Another thing to note when you're doing this is the surface constantly changes. When you're playing a video game, the surface is absolutely consistent, and it makes the experience a little bit predictable, so you can continuously get good. Well, when you're out here racing these real cars, the conditions are constantly changing. Just one car doing one lap ahead of you will dig new ruts and expose loose surfaces, and so you're constantly having to adjust. It's very, very dynamic. You'd think it's nothing like on a racetrack. You know, I used to go to the Ridge Motorsports Park, and you can watch that video too. I have it uploaded of me racing my car. Absolutely predictable. Every single lap, you can seriously hit every corner at exactly the same speed, the same apex, everything, and you're perfectly safe. Well, with this kind of driving, you absolutely can't. In this type of driving, you go into a corner one time and you might get all kinds of grip. You go into another time, you might not get any grip. You might also lose grip just right in the middle of the turn and have to like reach for the e-brake to save it. So there's a hell of a lot more stress doing this than being on a track, in my opinion. And when I was doing the track exercise, we were hitting 140 mile an hour on the straight, and we were going through the corners, you know, 60 to 80 miles an hour. and it seriously didn't make me as scared and nervous as I am behind the wheel of this thing. And I've done these 3 times, so I spent 9 days driving rally cars now, which, you know, I'd expect I'm getting pretty good at it now, and they seem to think so too, which is cool. And I also did their 1 day. They have a 1 day program. That's what got me all hooked on this thing. So if you don't have the money or the means to do the 3 day, then try the 1 day out sometime. They usually have like Groupons and stuff like that. And it's just go to dirtfish.com, dirtfish.com, and tell them Jerry sent you. I'm pretty much their mascot now because I've been up there so many times. You can see I'm actually getting quite a bit better if you've been watching the run here. Coming through the slalom here, the less work you do, the better off you are. So when you see me turning the wheel more than 90 degrees, I mean, I'm working way harder than I need to, and I'm having to counter steer to save it. But it's, you know, old habits die hard. Yeah, this is cool. And then once you come out of the woods, you go into this industrial complex here. Dawn giving me a little encouragement there with a clap. We had so many clean runs this day. It was, you know, I remember the last time I did my 3 day, it was actually a really stressful encounter, and this time I was actually pretty relaxed. Well, we were coming in really hot here. Oh, you see there, I missed a stick. We were trying to pendulum turn it on the pavement into the gravel, and I panicked. It's one thing you don't want to do in rally cars. You don't want to panic. You just want to always be just calm and relaxed, and that's easier said than done. So, but here on the pavement, you just really get into boost hard, and you got to scrub that speed off before you transition into the loose surface. Otherwise, you'll go sliding off. But driving rally cars, it's all about getting these things turned in, pointed, and then getting on the gas. So it's a lot different than track racing in that regard. And I've been doing a lot of the simulator stuff, like I said, like the Dirt 3 and the Richard Burns Rally. And, you know, you want to do this thing called left foot braking. You always have your foot on the brake with your left foot while you're using acceleration with the right. And you can actually balance the throttle and the brake at the same time. Like, you wouldn't think you could push both surfaces at the same time. You'd think that'd be counterproductive, but it actually allows you to shift the weight of the car. It's actually really cool. So most of the steering in these cars is actually done with your feet. So same thing in dirt. If you're playing dirt, give this a try. You know, when you start to go into a corner, get on the brake, not really hard. Give it about, you know, half the brake pedal. Depending, you know, if you have a load cell based brake pedal, it's a lot easier to do. But, you know, give it about 50% brake going into the corner. Turn the wheel well before you're ready to steer. The car won't even barely start turning, and then slowly let up off that brake, and that's called trail braking. And when you do that, the car is going to want to pitch sideways. And if you're going into a real tight corner, like normally where you use the e-brake, what you can do is go into the corner with quite a bit of gas, get on the brake really hard, and steer the opposite direction, like literally, like, and this is called a pendulum turn. So steer the opposite direction, but keep the brake held until you get right about to that corner, then counter steer back the other direction and let go of the brake. You have to wait until that counter steer is complete before you start letting that brake out. But as soon as you let that brake out, the car will seriously spin like it's on a dime, and it'll be just like you're pulling the handbrake, except for you can keep quite a bit more speed going into the corner. They teach you tons of techniques and a lot of these muscle memory. Like right there, I had to go around the corner and grab second while I was in the middle of a slide. There's lots of obstacles and hazards out here. On day 3, the track that they let you play on, there's a lot of stuff to bust the car up on, so you got to be pretty careful. And I'll tell you what, you ride along with one of these instructors, and they'll scare you shitless. I mean, the speeds that they're comfortable driving through these woods, and you know, the unpredictable, you know, constant corrections for the unpredictable surface, it's just completely overwhelming. Now that run, I was like super happy. That was a really clean run. I really wish the GoPro had picked up some of the audio here, because I'm sure this is pretty lame just watching me drive and listening to me talk here. But, you know, when life gives you lemons, I guess that's what you do. Plus, as you guys already know, if you're on the Facebook page, I've been getting over a sickness. I got a really bad tonsil and sinus infection, and I've been on antibiotics for about 4 days. And I figured I'm not ready to shoot another video yet because I'm still feeling pretty crappy, but I figured I already had this footage laying around, so I'd do a little editing. I hope you guys do enjoy it. It's a little bit of a long video, but if you're a rally enthusiast, I'm sure there's lots here for you. This straightaway right here, you can get to the top of 3rd gear. Never looked down at the speedometer to see how fast we were going, but it was pretty damn fast. And this is pretty cool. This is one of those areas where you use the gas and the brake at the same time, because In these four-wheel drive Subarus, if you get on the brake, it'll basically transfer weight to the front of the car. Well, you can keep power to the rear wheels, so you can keep the rear sliding around while the front's planted. And it's a really weird sensation. It's not something that you'd ever do racing on pavement, but in the dirt, it just works phenomenal. And everything you do in these cars has to do with this weight transfer, and they basically indoctrinate this into your head the whole time you're there, is that you're steering with your feet and it's about transferring weight in the car. It's about predicting what you're coming up on, what the surface looks like, taking all those variables into your head and then translating those into minimal amount of movements, brake, gas, and everything to get you through that turn safely. And the other thing is you have to do this thing, they always talk about the 7/10. Don't ever drive at 100%, drive at 7/10. And in rally, that's very true, because you got to leave yourself a margin of error. If you don't leave yourself a margin of error, a lot of unknown variables are going to come in and bite you in the ass, and you really, really don't want that. Here we're trying to get the thing to trail brake on the pavement, but the pavement was really dry today, so it just wasn't happening. Towards my later runs, I just start yanking the e-brake to get the thing sideways through there. Coming in here, this surface right here, I mean, you transition from gravel to pavement. There's a lot of places here in the video where you can't see, but there's pavement actually under the gravel, so it's like little marbles of gravel on the surface, and the car just gives out. It's hard to get a sense of speed from the video, but this is actually going through here really fast. Alright guys, well that was Don Wooten. Now here we are after lunch, getting in the big man in a little car. Yeah, getting in with that roll cage is a little bit of a pain in the ass, and the 4-point strap's even more. But this is Lee Clark sitting next to me right here. He grabbed Don's helmet and decided he wanted to jump in for a ride, because he pretty much told me beforehand, since I've done the course 3 times, 3 days, that he wanted to go along for a ride. So it's kind of cool. So now I got the VP and a seasoned rally expert who spent most of his career behind the wheel, and now he's in the car with me. You're going to notice on these runs I'm actually pushing quite a bit harder, and I'll tell you why. Because Lee is actually psycho, and I hope he's watching this video so that he can hear me call him psycho, and he's probably got a big shit-eating grin on his face, because he is. He basically had me pushing this car so far beyond my comfort level. I was sweating. When I got out of the car at the end, I was absolutely just sweating, and I was scared, because he was having me just keep the throttle down till the last second, and he was having me come into stuff really hot. And if you look over at him, he's completely calm the whole time. I don't know how anybody can just sit in the passenger seat when I'm this nervous and driving this hard. But he does, and that's another, just hallmark of a seasoned rally driver, I guess. But at the beginning of each run, he'd tell me, hey, just push a little harder, brake a little later, and they teach you, empathy for these cars. These cars, the upkeep on them is like ridiculously expensive. And they're like, okay, well, try to take it easy on them. Well, Lee didn't pull any punches on this one. He was like, no, just hammer down, hammer down, hammer down, just murder the thing. So this isn't something that, that everybody at DirtFish is going to get to do, nor will you really want to, because I honestly felt like I was at great risk multiple times through these runs. But I have to say it was probably the most exhilarating ride I've ever had, because I was pushing it so hard. But I wouldn't want to drive like this all day. You can kind of get a little contrast of how I'm driving here, compared to my last couple of runs, and they are quite a bit faster. Unfortunately, they didn't let us take times on these runs because the class was getting a little squirrely, and some of the students were, oh, here we go, reaching for the e-brake. Here we go, bringing it around at speed. So, people were getting pretty crazy in the cars, so they don't let you take times on some of the runs because the stopwatch has a tendency to push you really, really hard. Even without the stopwatch, I can tell you right now, I was pushing harder than I thought possible on this run. Ooh, just barely saved it there. But it was a hell of a treat. I think it's cool that Lee came down and jumped in the car with me. Don't get me wrong, all the instructors there, Don and all those guys, they all have massive rally experience, and they're all brilliant drivers, and I'm confident every single one of them could just go jump in a rally car and win a rally. But Lee, I mean, he did it for a good portion of his life, professionally, and I think he raced for Audi and Porsche. So it was pretty cool to see somebody who spent their life, you know, behind the wheel in rally, just being so calm and collected, sitting next to a student who's basically in this car that, I mean, we're going so fast in some of these areas. I mean, if we lost grip and we slid off into the woods, we wouldn't only destroy the car, we'd destroy our bodies. So it's pretty cool that he had that kind of trust in me, and you know, and I totally thank him for that. Here we are shooting down through a slalom. Down here at the end you do a pendulum turn. This is that thing I was telling you about. You get on the brake right here, turn out, and then turn back, release the brake, and you just keep that slide going with throttle. And then see, we're pointing out in the woods, flip the other way. That's the second leg in the pendulum. And then down here it's really soupy, so we get on the brakes early and we just let the car slide out. And then we're lined up for a big straight and we just put the hammer down. At this point, oh, right there we went through a mud puddle and actually ripped, we were going to that corner so fast. I can't even tell you, but I honestly didn't think we were going to make that. Yeah, this run, we're just hot. And you can't hear it in the audio, but Lee's just like, go, 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 more, 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 go, 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 go. I mean, I keep trying to pull back, and he was just holding me right at my ragged edge. And I actually made it, so... So he definitely knew what he was talking about. That noise you hear right there, we got a rock stuck in the brake caliper. Once I get up here around the corner, I'll clear it. These cars are amazing, though. If you tried to take your street car out on this course, you wouldn't even make it one lap without busting something on it, seriously. Here we are, getting lined up for another run. You can see there's another car coming in. Those are the cars behind me. Alright, here we go. Each run I'm pushing a little bit harder. Coming in here, third gear, just burning around this corner. We're just... Gotta get sideways, pulling in the second. On the throttle. Whoa, stay away from the ditch. Coming through here, this is really nice. This corner I do really well, I believe, right here. So I turn it. Notice I start... Oh, no, that wasn't the good one. The good one was earlier. What you want to do is start the turn early so that you're basically sliding the nose of the car around that cone, so you're already on the throttle when you're coming out into the straightaway. Coming in really hot right here. We're just getting on the brakes. You don't want to lock up the wheels. Locking up the wheels is bad. Here we go. Staying in nice and close on this turn. Get that ass end out. And then we're heading back into the slalom again. Okay, we're on it hard. Coming through here. Alright, got to get on the brakes hard right here. Bring it in. That was really good. Want to punch it. There we go. Pendulum it. We're lined up for a big straight right there. And now we're getting ready to head back into the complex. I am so stressed at this moment right here in the car. It's like I wish that you had audio of what I was saying in the car, but I was pretty freaked out. So here we are, hammer down, going on the pavement, scrubbing the speed really quick, pendulum in on the dirt. That's really fast right there. Here we go, double pendulum. See, I let up off the brake. Car comes right around. And these techniques absolutely work in both dirt and Richard Burns rally. So I can personally tell you now from absolute experience that when you're playing dirt, the physics aren't perfect. I mean, the surface is more predictable and you have more grip than you do in real life. But the same tactics, the lift turn brake, the lift turn weight, the trail braking, pendulum turns, all that stuff actually works pretty much as expected. And once I get over this freaking sickness and I'm done with my antibiotics, I'm going to actually start logging regular time on my simulator again in dirt to see if I can actually start placing some pretty crazy respectable scores now that I know what I'm doing. Alright, at least tell me what I did wrong right there. Now here's my final run, guys. If you've stuck with me this long, hey, super kudos, man. Leave it in the comments if you actually made it to this point in the video. So here we go. This is where the course starts, right around this corner. So we're on it. These cars got a lot of power too. So coming through here, It's actually pretty similar to the car that I drive on the road. It's just a rally version of it. The suspension on it's a lot better. The brakes are a lot different. They disable the brake booster, so the entire brake is your leg and what force you can put down. It's not like a power brake where you just touch it lightly. You seriously have to put, you know, 100 foot-pounds of force down on that brake pedal to get it to come close to locking up the wheels. There we go. That was good. Now see that pendulum it in? Beautiful. The cameraman sitting there pointing the nose of the car at him. I got to get those photos from him. Coming down here, we're sliding in, and we're on it hard into the straight. Grabbing third gear. Go through some mud puddles. Just lost a water bottle off the car there. We found that out later. Second gear. Oh, that was perfect. Yeah, in rally, you can seriously make up seconds and lose seconds in a single turn. You know, it's like, it's amazing how important it is to carry your inertia. Now here, we're just pedal down, pedal down, pedal down. Never stop spinning all four wheels through there. And there we go. That was the final run. Got another rock stuck in the caliper just because we were just going so crazy. We were just shooting shit all over the place. But Lee, he's definitely a guy, you know, you ride along with him if you want to push 10 tenths. If you want 7 tenths, stick with Don Wooten. Lee, you're crazy. So that pretty much concludes the drive, guys. Those were my last two runs. It was the morning run and then the afternoon run that I did with the two different instructors. There's a ton of footage that I had, but honestly, I just had hours of stuff. A lot of it was broken up. The audio was bad. So I figured that for this last video here, I'd just go with my two best runs at the end of the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you ever have the opportunity and you're around in Snoqualmie, Washington, hit DirtFish up. They're absolutely a one-of-a-kind experience. I guarantee you that, you know, unless you're flying F-18 Hornets, you're probably not going to find something to get your adrenaline that popped up. But hey guys, I hope this video gave you a nerdgasm. I hope you all get the opportunity to do this someday, and until next time.